That's why so many dealers have developed terrible reputations over the years. They have that near-term or short-term business model or business approach that really rubs people the wrong way. Very rarely will you find a dealership that's focusing on that long game, right? Where they want to earn your business and get your returning business. If I sell you a vehicle and get you a great deal, I'm looking forward to having you come back to the dealership in 3 to 5 years, excited to buy your next vehicle. A lot of people cannot justify and they cannot afford the new price tags on new vehicles across the board. The average new vehicle purchase price was just over $49,000 here at the beginning of 2025, and the brand new truck purchase price was just over $64,000. So you're going to get those dealers holding firm to their price tags and just waiting it out. They're going to try to ride the wave and maybe, hopefully, at some point, maybe even get a government bailout. That'd be nice, right? That's what a lot of them think. Then you're going to have the actual successful dealers, I think. Those are the dealers that are going to be willing to cut their prices, add incentivized interest rates to their deals, and cut their losses sooner than later. Hey YouTube, Untamed here. We often talk about the car market crash, and obviously people throw around those terms loosely all the time. A car market crash looks different. You ask 5 different people, you're gonna get 6 different responses on what a car market crash truly looks like here in 2025. In my honest opinion, a real car market crash really is 10 to 20% below invoice. So invoice is technically what a dealership pays for a vehicle. There's a little bit of a profit margin still at invoice, but 10 to 20% below that invoice figure is what I believe truly is the best possible case scenario for you and I, the consumer, to go buy a vehicle. And right now, that's doable, especially right now. So I firmly believe that June, July, August timeframe is the best time to go out and buy a new vehicle. If you have a trade-in, even better. Used values are up because people cannot afford and they cannot justify the payments on a new vehicle purchase. That's abundantly clear and the writing is on the wall. In today's video, I'm gonna highlight the many detailed stats, facts, and figures that paint that picture for you and really explain why right now really is the best time. So stick with me. For starters, tax season is in the rearview mirror, wrapped up April, May timeframe. That generally is when a lot of dealerships are fully aware that a lot of Americans and a lot of American families have some additional money in their bank accounts due to receiving their tax returns. That's why year after year, May, April timeframe is when a lot of peak sales happen for so many dealerships across the country. So for starters, tax season is now over with.
Daddy, I found a special lock for you.
Thanks, Mamie.
Yeah.
Oh, 2. Thank you. The second reason is it is now summertime, and generally speaking, year after year, this is when sales begin to slow anyway. That's when families are on their family vacations, kiddos are fresh out of school, they're directing their time and attention toward that, not so much the resources and money toward buying a new vehicle. So generally speaking, this time frame, it slows down anyway. But this year, it's slowing down even more, and let me explain why. We just saw so many dealers across the country take advantage of the whole fear-mongering tactics of, hey, come buy your pre-tariff vehicle, come buy a vehicle before those tariffs hit. And well, a lot of people fell victim to that. I would argue that the vast majority of Americans who fell victim to that fear-mongering tactic are the people who are planning to buy anyway. Those are the people who are gonna buy later this year, no matter what. Really, it just kind of made their purchase a little more prematurely, right? They came out a few months earlier than what they originally planned to come buy their vehicle. So much of the buyers that were already going to come out and buy this time of the year anyway, well, they already did. They came out because of the whole pre-tariff fear-mongering tactics. So now there are even less people buying right now. And I say June, July, August on purpose because come September, October timeframe, that's when the whole end of year sales begin, right? That's when a lot of dealerships begin to clamor and say, hey, come buy your vehicle. The end of year sales are now on. And a lot of Americans, unfortunately, every single year will always fall victim to those gimmicky practices. They're really not all that great, those deals, but when they add the whole end of the year sale to it, it gets people excited, and that's when people want to come out and start spending their hard-earned money. So it is before the whole end of year craze begins, and I think that adds to your benefit to buy right now. And really the whole pre-tariff sales pitch and the spike in sales that we saw during Q1 and a little bit here in Q2, that really has given a false sense of hope to so many dealers across the country. They don't even know what's about to hit them. And I'm confident in saying that those sales, they're gonna see a huge slump as we teeter deeper into Q3. Another factor playing to your benefit right now is used values are actually up quite a bit over what we saw just in Q4 and the beginning of Q1 here in 2025. That is because a lot of people cannot justify and they cannot afford the new price tags on new vehicles across the board. The average new vehicle purchase price was just over $49,000 here at the beginning of 2025, and the brand new truck purchase price was just over $64,000. People cannot justify those price tags anymore. So because of that, used vehicle prices are shooting upward, and rightfully so, because that is what people can actually afford. That helps you if you're going to go buy a new vehicle, because what does that mean for your trade-in? Your trade-in value did go up, and it went up quite a bit, a few $1,000s, I would argue, in most cases, just within the last 4 or 5 months here. And because new vehicle prices have shot to the moon, so many people are just deciding to hold on to their current vehicles much longer than normal. Really, traditionally speaking, here in America, it is 3 to 5 years. On average, most Americans will own a new vehicle before trading it out for another new vehicle, 3 to 5 years. But now, with the price tags going up so much over the last 6 years here, 42% since 2019 on average, MSRPs have gone up, people are just deciding it is much wiser just to hold on to my vehicle, perform that necessary maintenance, perform that necessary service with my current vehicle, instead of getting into an even larger amount of debt by buying a new vehicle. And because so many people overpaid throughout the last 3 to 5 years during the pandemic, dealers were quick to charge markups on everything and upcharge you on absolutely everything on a new vehicle purchase. So push these protection packages on you, these inflated extended warranties. People overpaid throughout the last 3 to 5 years because that demand did exceed supply, right? And well, dealers took advantage of that, unfortunately. But because of that, so many people still owe a tremendous amount on their current vehicle where they have a large negative equity. The national average negative equity of the people with a negative equity is about $7,400. They owe $7,400 more than what their vehicle is currently worth. And when you combine that with the fact that so many banks are denying loans right now, loan applications for automobiles, it just adds to the fact that there's not a whole lot of people fishing in a new vehicle purchase market, right? So you have less competition ultimately, and that's something to consider if you are trying to buy something here in the next couple months. And with the cost of everything skyrocketing between your rent, your mortgage, cost of groceries, the cost of insurance, everything has people feeling as if it's death by 1,000 cuts. People are feeling hemmed up, and that is adding to the reason why we're not seeing so many Americans come out and buy new vehicles right now. So again, that just adds to the whole picture here, where we're not seeing a whole lot of people come out and buy, especially during this time frame. So there's going to be a huge loss of buyers, a lack of buyers in the next few months here. And well, if you are going to buy, might as well capitalize on it and get the best deal possible. Let's face it, dealers are in for a rude awakening because they have been able to get away with charging markups and just taking advantage of you and I, the consumer, over the last few years, right? Really, since the beginning of the pandemic, they've been able to take advantage of you and I. And especially with the whole pre-tariff conversation, it gave them that false sense of hope that things are going to be great for them and they're continuously going to make great sales. But no, not here in the next couple months. They're going to see a huge dip in the interest from buyers. If it's between keeping a roof over your head and food on the table or buying a new vehicle, well, people are going to hold on to that older vehicle of theirs and keep it on the road much longer before going out and spending all that money on a new vehicle purchase. For that same exact reason is why we saw 1.85 million vehicles being repossessed in 2024. People would rather give up on their auto loan payment instead of giving up on their rent, on their mortgage, on putting food on the table. They're putting their bare necessities first before getting that brand new shiny car. Another factor playing to your benefit right now is there are so many unsold 2024 units on so many dealership lots across the country right now. Don't take it from me. Go walk your local dealerships and see how many of them are unsold 2024 units. It's unreal. And when you add on to the fact that the new 2026 units are going to begin hitting dealership lots come end of July, August timeframe, that just adds to your benefit, right? They're gonna want to move the 2024 units for sure, of course, as well as the 2025 units because, well, they got to make room for the 26s to hit the lot. And technically speaking, most of the inventory on dealership lots right now, the vast majority of it anyway, we're not subject to tariffs at all. So a lot of analysts believe that we won't see a 20 to 25% uptick in price tags, of course, but maybe a 5 to 7% uptick in MSRPs across most lineups. That hasn't hit yet. So again, another reason to go out and buy right now, because they can't truly subject you to the added tariff price tags on vehicle inventory that's already been there well before tariffs are even in play. I personally would argue the fact that adding any kind of tariff or any kind of increase to MSRPs right now is only going to slow the market even more. Because what are we seeing right now? People are not buying new vehicle inventory because of their astronomical price tags right now. So what gives them the nerve to think that they can up the price tags even more and then still get added interest? They won't. There will not be an added interest from the public because, well, they're already priced to the moon and they're already out of touch with reality. So again, adding any kind of price tag to it, any increase at all, is only going to hinder the market even more, making it less competitive. We're going to begin to see the true colors of so many dealerships. Already, so many of them took advantage of the consumer throughout the last few years, burned bridges with a lot of their loyal customers who had been returning to the dealerships for years. They burned bridges, flicked them to the wind, all for the sake of lining their pockets, generally with an ADM of some sort, additional dealer markup, again, milking you and I, the consumer. So they already flicked us to the wind, and now they're going to be regretting that more than ever. They're going to wish they had some loyal consumers, loyal customers coming back to the dealership. But no, they let greed get in the way of that. I think we're truly going to see one of two things happen with most dealerships, right? Obviously, if you live in a heavily populated area, most of those dealers are going to feel confident that, well, eventually something's going to sell. We have enough people within our community or city here, we're going to sell our inventory. And those are the dealers that are going to hold firm. They're going to hold firm to their price tags, all thanks to greed, right? Because they think, well, they'll treat you like another brick in the wall. If you're not going to buy it, somebody else will buy it. And that's kind of the philosophy and the mindset of so many dealers during the pandemic, right? They treated you and I like a number, like another brick in the wall, which is a total shame, right? So you're going to get those dealers holding firm to their price tags and just waiting it out. They're going to try to ride the wave, and maybe, hopefully, at some point, maybe you can get a government bailout. That'd be nice, right? That's what a lot of them think. Then you're going to have the actual successful dealers, I think. Those are the dealers that are going to be willing to cut their prices, add incentivized interest rates to their deals, and cut their losses sooner than later. They know that they're playing the long game. If they cut losses early, take hits on some of their vehicles, lose on some of their vehicles, they know that they're going to be earning returning customers, people who are going to feel wonderful about that buying experience, and they are for sure going to come back to that dealership. Those are the dealerships that are going to thrive. Mark my words, those are the dealerships we want to see. Other ones, well, they're going to hold firm, and some of them are going to go belly up. Can't say I feel bad. And let's face it, that's why so many dealers have developed terrible reputations over the years. They have that near-term or short-term business model or business approach that really rubs people the wrong way. Very rarely will you find a dealership that's focusing on that long game, right? Where they want to earn your business and get your returning business. If I sell you a vehicle and get you a great deal, I'm looking forward to having you come back to the dealership in 3 to 5 years, excited to buy your next vehicle. Very few dealerships actually focus on that because the retention rate of so many of the dealership staff is so short, right? I mean, they stay there for a year or two, then they move. All they want to focus on is how can they get rich the fastest, right? How can they line their pockets fast enough where they can maximize and capitalize on at your expense? How can they do that at the fastest point possible without any remorse, right? I mean, so many of them do that, and that's why they develop such a terrible reputation. That's why so many people would rather go to the dentist than go negotiate a new vehicle purchase. Because, well, let's face it, so many salesmen are like sharks with blood in the water. Now, personally, I do believe in karma, and the dealerships that were taking advantage of you and I, the consumer, charging markups throughout the last few years, taking advantage of your excitement on a new vehicle, well, those are the dealers that are going to pay the most, right? They need you, the loyal customer, now more than ever, and well, you're nowhere to be found, and for good reason. Now, I always feel ugly mentioning this because I don't mean it as a flex, but I say it because I see a number of comments that will come in and say, what do you know? What's your background in this? What's your experience in this? People always challenge it. I understand, because everybody online is seemingly an expert in everything, right? And it's always kind of pretending to be an expert. I get it, okay? But I do have a PhD in industrial and organizational psychology. I'm published in this field. I love focusing on it. I love looking into the reasoning, the deep reasoning as to why organizations make the decisions they do, and ultimately how it affects the American public. I love looking into that type of stuff. That's why I enjoy talking about it with you guys. In addition to that, I did own and operate a successful nationwide auto brokerage service for over a year. It was hugely successful, had a ton of positive feedback, but it took a lot of bandwidth. So trying to juggle that with a full-time career and, well, 5 kiddos at home was pretty difficult. So I decided to peel off of that. Although I loved it, it was a lot to do. So only plugging that, not to beat my chest, but just to kind of add maybe some credibility for some of you guys who like to challenge it. All right, guys, I'll wrap up the video there. I do firmly believe that we're going to continue to see this huge influx of new vehicle inventory come available within the United States. It's going to continue to be the case, and it's going to continue to grow at a compounding rate now more than ever. So if you have been on the fence and you've been considering going to buy a new vehicle, I do firmly believe that you can maximize the most right now, because dealerships, they're going to be hurting. If you enjoy this type of content at all, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support does mean a ton, and I promise you it doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time.